Hey guys, welcome back to another relationship series video. But before we get to that video, I want to remind you guys about the giveaway that we are doing. Super fun, super exciting. SafeCoat paint, which is a premium non-toxic paint, has partnered with us to give one of you guys a free gallon of paint of your choice. Shipping is included, everything is included. All you need to do is enter into this giveaway. And what I love about this paint, it's non-toxic, has 0 VOCs, and it's also extremely durable and seals in all of the toxins from your recent paint job. So kudos to them for creating a really great product. And this is actually a $100 value of paint. Super easy to enter this giveaway. All you need to do is hit that subscribe button, make sure that you're subscribed to this channel if you aren't already, and hit that little bell icon to get notifications so that you never miss out on any future videos, as well as hit the like button, give it a thumbs up, and comment below. You can comment up to 3 times on this video. The more you comment, the more chances you have to win. All right, on to the video. I'm picking up the stick. I'm not into right now. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of our relationship series Q&A, where we answer your questions. And today we have our special guests, our really good friends, Christine and Micah. Okay, on to the next question. What do you do when your partner's personal beliefs, whether theological or social or whatever, change a lot over the years, and I'm guessing it starts creating like a divide in your relationship? What do you do? That's a hard one. Thank you for sharing that one. I think that's really important to talk about because I've seen many marriages split because of those theological, political, child rearing, like anything, just anything. Those strong values.
There's some main ones though, like
those
three
ones, or really even major financial value changes.
Yes.
That's really tough too.
Finances are huge. Yes. Oh my gosh. What do you think? That's a hard one.
The very best marriage advice I remember being given was when we were 18 and we wanted to get married, and so we asked his parents, and his parents laughed and said no. Within a month, his parents came and were like, all right, let's talk about this. We just laughed and said no, but we realized maybe we should talk to you guys about it. And his dad said, you know, you guys are young and you don't know this yet, but when you get married, you have to understand that in 10 years, you might be married to a completely different person. And it was like, oh, that has been so helpful for me. Yeah. Like, really, because it was around our 10-year mark. Around our 10-year mark, Micah had a brain injury and had a real personality change.
I can see him like cringing over there.
I know, he's like, no, I didn't.
So
I swear I didn't.
say.
He just doesn't remember because
I don't remember
I had amnesia involved in this.
He goes, I don't remember that. You're like, of course you didn't. You had amnesia. No, but I don't remember that.
Who took care of you when you had amnesia? You know I can't remember that.
Who took care of you?
Yeah.
Around the 10-year mark, went through a personality change, and I felt like I was married to a different person. And then I was like, oh, yeah. Dad said this was going to happen.
And you were also like, if you don't change back, I'm going to divorce you.
It was horrible. I was so unhappy.
Yeah.
Like, I could not imagine being more unhappy. At that time, that was our least happy time in our marriage.
Wow, really?
Oh, yes.
Wow.
By a long ways.
So they say.
And he can't remember it.
He was like, I felt great.
This is the best 6 months I don't remember.
No, I do remember part of it. But,
It was like I didn't have kids.
well, so like I guess.
Was I married?
I was like a free man for 6 months.
Oh my god. So yeah, I was going through an intersection really dark, early morning, and a car hit me going like 35.
Ugh.
I totaled the van. It was like
Out of his
$4,000 worth of damage to the van. Yeah.
With his how much?
Like $4,000 worth of damage. So they just totaled the car.
Oh.
I landed on the roof. We don't have to get
the
into
windshield
it.
In.
Yeah, I don't really remember the rest of the.
Wow.
Rest of the couple
You don't
days.
you don't remember the next 6 months.
No, I do. It's still foggy, but like I remember I did have a big change. No, I do remember I got really aggressive with things, like with conversation and arguments. I would get like more aggressive than I normally am. With like being right and I'm not going to listen, and I know that was super hard, and Christine dealt with it very graciously. The thing that makes humans human is their ability to change. It's a beautiful and terrifying thing, that we can change for the better or for the worse.
Yeah.
and if you have a spouse who's changing in ways that you can't quite understand or relate to, or you know what I mean, that's very difficult.
Well, I wanted to share this story specifically for this question because there was around a 1.5 year to 2 year time span where I was really wrestling with whether or not I wanted to be a Christian anymore. I was disillusioned. I had a lot of broken expectations. I was I felt wounded by ministry, just so much stuff that everybody feels. I don't want to dumb it down, but it is very normal. And I really view that place in my life as a time where I had to wrestle with my faith and go, am I really going to commit my life to this forever? And do I truly believe it? And he was so understanding, would have long hours of discussion and let me share what I was feeling. He never once said, oh my God, you need to go get prayer. You need some inner healing. He was never you're crazy. You need to get it back together. Go read your Bible or something. He never did that. You need to get in the Word. I would have been F you. But no, but he was so understanding, and he would honestly just talk to me, and he would be that's a really valid point. Have you thought about this? I was getting heavily influenced by all this new spirituality of is there more ways to God than just living a Christian life, And I was really intrigued by it. And we'd talk about this stuff for hours. And he never once judged. He created a safe place for me to discover on my own that I did not want that. Yeah. That I wanted Jesus. And I want to know, what did you think? Were you, you were probably freaked out for me for a while.
A whole 2 year process that she went
Oh,
through?
there was definitely a couple times that I was like, am I going to lose my life?
Yeah.
I literally was I could lose my life out of this. But
how did you stay so patient?
Honestly, if I have to admit, I think that might have been the grace of the Lord.
Yeah.
I don't know. In general, I tend to be patient with people learning, and I don't like to be very dogmatic because I don't like religiosity. And I think kind of a foundational belief system for me is that if God is real, then he can defend himself. Is kind of a way that I kind of view things. And I knew that you were legitimately searching. And because you were legitimately searching, I was fine with just being yeah, well, let's search it together, and I want to be involved in it, and I'll ask questions, and where I have answers, because I've wrestled through those things before, I'll give you some of my thoughts, but I know that at the end of the day, you're gonna have to come to your own answers. I've always seen that if you legitimately have an open heart and you're having questions, there's nothing wrong with that. The Lord's not scared of your questions, you know what I mean? And we shouldn't be either. It's fine to have those questions as long as you have a willing heart that when truth hits you, you respond to it. So.
I think what sounds like part of the key is you didn't operate, you guys didn't have discussions, or at least CJ, from a place of fear, insecurity, I'm going to lose my wife, even though you thought it, that's a real possibility. It's the same thing with my children. I'm scared to death, thinking, they might completely have a complete different outlook on life, and their worldview is going to be could be radically different. But you waste time when you worry about those things. Yeah. And what you have to do, what you have is a relationship that didn't go away. It just has changed. And so what you do is you just talk in the same way you've talked before. It's just about deep things, and it's about things that are really foundational. But operating from a place of fear, that can really screw it up.
Because
you know what I mean?
Because you start controlling.
You start controlling.
No one ever, that doesn't work ever.
And then it becomes, I need to convince them. That's the worst thing you can do.
Cannot
you should never try to convince somebody.
No. Yeah.
Something that was really helping me is in that moment, I felt like she wasn't being rebellious. What she was being like a teenager. She encountered the Lord, got radically changed. That was, 7 years prior. But when a child has been told all of these things, and you've experienced stuff, so you believe it, and it's your parents are telling you what's true, and there's dimension. As a kid, you receive that, right? Well, then there comes a point where that child then has to go and experience the world and realize, wow, is that really truth? You know what I mean? Do I just believe this because somebody else told me, or can I believe it for myself now? And everybody has to go through that.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody has to go from a point where truth is not what you're told, it's what you experience and you come to know for yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. you try and control them at that point, you will release that, like, I need to figure this out for myself, so I'm going to do it away from you.
Yeah.
Whereas if you keep it open, now they're wrestling through it, and I'm willing to go, let's see the points that are right, because maybe there's aspects in my own thinking that are maybe a little bit rigid or religiosity, and maybe even I can grow and come into a new understanding of the Lord, and that's fine. So let's go through it together.
Yeah, but that's the point, doing it together. If you're, like you said, you still have the relationship, you're still married to one another, like, you can still cultivate within that, but, like, shutting someone off is, like, probably the most dangerous thing.
But, I mean, you do have to stop and look, you know, if you're in a relationship with your spouse, and let's say you've got children, I mean, there's a lot of fear that's going to come up when they start experimenting with value systems, worldviews that you don't like.
Yeah.
I mean, like, let's be
Totally,
real.
totally.
That it's a threat to you.
It is.
Like, it is. And so you are going to feel threatened.
Yeah.
You know, like, you're threatening.
And protective.
Yeah, you're threatening my future. You're threatening what my children are going to be taught. You're threatening our lifestyles. You're threatening our community, you know, because, like, when a spouse decides, hey, I'm not going to go to church anymore, that is a threat to the community that you guys have built together, you know. And so I understand that these are, like, real threatening scenarios,
Yes.
you know, that are really painful,
It absolutely is.
you know. So so yes, that is the way to go through it.
For our case, that's what it was.
Right.
But,
But the amount of pain that's going to be there, that's real. But I think acknowledging how much pain that you're going to suffer when a spouse goes through a major change, you know that pain is there, but you don't react in fear and control. But realizing the temptation to try to control the situation for your good, for your desired outcome, is you just got to let go.
Yeah.
And I think that what you're saying, like, is absolutely true as well. And if she would have went to a place that I felt was, like,
dangerous,
harmful to the future of what I believed my kids needed, I might have taken a little bit different action.
Oh,
in that
right.
place.
Totally.
Like, I'm speaking at it from a point of a leadership perspective, I would say, of...
Right, she
know,
wasn't there. She hadn't turned completely.
She-
It was mostly my mind.
And she,
things that I was
she
like...
had times, but she did a good job of also keeping it from the kids. You know, like, she was still loving with them. There was nothing happening that was hindering that relationship, and she wasn't trying to indoctrinate them. in a new way of
exactly.
thinking.
I was
Like,
processing,
she
and
was
I was
processing.
But
experiencing
from that question, that could be the scenario
It could
that they're
totally
looking at,
be
you
the
know, and that's a
scenario.
completely
Yes,
different
yes,
scenario.
it
That,
is.
and you have to approach
know.
that
Yes.
differently. And
Yeah.
I get that
Yes.
because you, as a parent, you also
Absolutely.
have a responsibility to your family
Right.
and finding a way through that.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because every situation is going to be different.
Yeah.
If someone is starting to dabble in destructive behavior or like really destructive values, whether it's like pornography and now this is okay or this is okay and now I want my kids to, you know, that it gets messy there.
Yeah,
and
it is messy.
there are measures that should be taken at that point.
I think realizing the difference between, like, questioning is good, like, it's okay, or wrestling through things, all of that is fine. You know, when you actually have a separation of ideals and values, that's a separate issue. That becomes a whole nother thing that you have to approach differently.
If you just start growing apart, there comes a time where it's like, this is very difficult to even just live and be in the same place together.
Yeah.
You know, one person wants to go to here all the time and do these things, the other person does not. And, like, you can compromise to a point. You know, there comes a point where you can't.
Yeah.
Like, you can't compromise, and you just have to grow apart. And that's a sad reality of a lot of situations. And so, like, having that conversation, just super honest, of like, where are you pointing towards? Where is your life, the trajectory of the decisions that you're making? Where is it going? Because if we're just going in opposite directions, you know, how long can that last practically before something has to change, you know? And that's and it's painful. It's not what God wants. It's hurt, you know, it hurts. But
we have a free choice, and
you have a free choice, and
two can't walk together.
Yeah, and you can always love that person.
Right.
Like, your love for that person doesn't have to change. It gets harder, but it doesn't ever have to change. And you're always called to love them, no matter if they're your enemy and they're the complete opposites. You know what I mean? As far as east from west, if you're opposites, you're even more so. You're called to love them.
I feel like if there is like to the point where there is a separation there, that to me makes me ask the question, well, what was going on beforehand that allowed for that to happen? Because if you're doing life together and you're open and you're sharing of your heart, you're intimate, you're you're a team,
Right.
it almost makes me go, well, what has been happening, or what is happening in your hearts where you're not dealing with, or just what's going on under the surface that's even allowed for that break, because it takes a lot.
Yeah,
to
a lot
make
of
that
tiny
happen.
things had to
Yeah.
happen.
People
for
don't just
big
make
break to
right-hand turns.
Exactly,
They,
that's what
they
I'm
kind of
saying.
have this trajectory that they're going in, and it
Exactly.
might be kind of hard to tell. You know what I mean? And you have to change when you're married. You like Martin Luther's like, marriage kind of just knocks off the rough edges around you. It changes you.
I love it. You guys have gone to counseling. A lot of people I know have gone to counseling. I've wanted to go to counseling at times just to have someone there who can like mediate.
Can there be an
the
adult
crazy.
in the room,
Yes,
please?
can there be an adult in the room? But like working on your marriage, investing in it, communication, not like the phrase not going to bed angry, but not holding offense.
Yeah.
And like if you're excited about something, that there's like safety to talk about, just to talk. I know people who like were married and for the first few years never had a fight, and they said because that's not healthy, but they were pissed off at each other for years.
Right.
And it's like, well, that's not good. You know what I mean? Let's talk
Yes.
about this.
Marriage requires, like healthy relationships in general, but marriage requires vulnerability. Vulnerability is painful, and it
yeah,
hurts.
it is. And it's
You know what I
humiliating.
mean? It is. It's like I have to like reveal like the parts of me that I've been able to hide from just what everybody else. You know what I mean? But here it comes. It's like I have to, and not only expose it, but deal with it. Like allow her to change me, and me to change her, and those types of things. It's painful and it hurts, and it's natural to want to hide those things and kind of appease them, stuff them, like just let's put it over here, and go with our lives and not realize that we're growing apart. So
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that ends it for this video. We really hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that like button and share it with your friends. And if you have any of your own questions or comments, please comment below to be featured in the next video. Until next time, we'll see you in the next video. Bye.